Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. And it's time for our Just Learn It session, how to be an email copywriter. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our topic, how to be an email copywriter. Have you guys heard about email copywriting before? You may have heard of popular email copywriters. Who do you know who is an email copywriter? Do you know anybody? I have a couple of friends of mine who are pretty popular email copywriters in the Philippines. We have people like John Bagulayan, Alan Ngo. These are pretty popular email copywriters, and they make a pretty good living doing email copy. So, what is email copywriting? Okay, so if we dissect that word, we have the word email, and then we have the word copywriting, right? So that's two different words here, email, copywriting. So we have these two different words. So email, we already know what email is. We receive email all the time, Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, if you remember those days, and all these different email providers. But what is this copywriting? Copywriting is writing that gets people to take action. Okay, so it's writing that gets people to take action. That's what copywriting is. And we see this when we watch TV shows, right? When you see magazines, you see different advertisements asking people to buy things. And when things like through email, which is the email copywriting. So it's getting people to take email copywriting, combining these two together, is getting people to take action through emails, through the emails you send them. And these can be, the actions that you ask them to do can be sales related, or they can be non-sales related. So you can ask them to buy a product, which happens a lot. If you signed up for my email list, I sometimes ask people to enroll in different courses, or they can be non-sales. The action can be to, let's say, sign up for a webinar, or enroll in a free course, or download a PDF, or join a Facebook group. So these can be sales or non-sales actions that you're asking them to do. But your writing should get people to take action, and in this case, it's through email. All right, so let's ask another question here. Why is it important for businesses? Why is email copywriting important for businesses? Well, because a good email copywriter, if you are a good email copywriter, like my friends John and Alan, if you have a good email copywriter, you can get an audience. This is the people reading. You can get them to do anything. You can really get them to do anything. If you're a good enough writer, you can get them to buy a let's say $1,000 product. You can get them to buy $1,000 product. You can get them to tell their friends about their experiences. That's the power of a good email copywriter. And for a business, if a business can get people to do anything, or practically anything, that is worth a lot of money. That's why email copywriters can really make a lot of money. But email copywriting isn't that easy, or it isn't easy at all. So if you're thinking about email copywriting, you might be asking, what is it? What do they do? Well, obviously they write, right? They write emails. And these emails can be stories. You can see a lot of these. These can be sharing. These can be case studies. And different kind of emails. Another thing that they do is they set up automations. For example, in our case, in WFHR, we send thousands of emails every day, and I don't send every single one by myself. We do that with automations. So that's what email, these are the two main tasks of an email copywriter. A third task of an email copywriter is to analyze data. Analyze data, because if you're sending an email, does it work? Does it work? You're going to analyze the data based on this email. You're going to find out if this email actually got people to buy something. So analyzing that data and seeing what emails worked, what emails didn't work, is part of the job of an email copywriter as well. Okay, so now if you're thinking about becoming an email copywriter, what skills do you need? What are the different skills you need to become an email copywriter? Well, first of all, you have to be kind of good in business. You have to understand business, because if you're selling products and services, you should really understand what these products and services can do, and in connection with that, you have to have a good idea about marketing and sales messages. Because when you're getting people to do something, most of the time that's marketing. And in order for you to be good in marketing, you also have to kind of know the psychology of your market. And to tap into their emotions, you have to be a good storyteller. Storytelling. And of course, whatever language, that's in most cases, we're using English here. But if you're talking to a Filipino audience, it could be Tagalog. You should also have good marketing analysis. Be able to look at data and see what works and what doesn't work. And you should be, very important, is culturally connected with your audiences. If you're going to talk about different TV shows, about different movies and so on, you have to be culturally connected with your audience. So as you can see, this set of skills, not everyone has this, right? Not everyone has it. And because of that, email copywriters can make lots of money. So let's talk about why should you do email copywriting? Because it pays very, very well if you're good at it. And competition is low. Competition is low for those that are really good at it. The reason why competition is low is especially because even if you're a very good writer, even if you're very good in English, the cultural connection is very important. Which is why a lot of Filipinos have trouble becoming email copywriters for other countries. Because if you want to write for Americans, this is the wrong color of the flag, but if you want to write for Americans, you have to be culturally connected with Americans, use the same language, and they have to be comfortable reading your emails. But if you're writing for Filipinos, it's a lot easier. I should be using the right colors here, but it's a lot easier if you're writing for Filipinos, because you know what TV shows Filipinos you watch. You know how Filipinos interact. Okay, so now why should you not? Why not become an email copywriter? Because, in one word, it's hard. It's not easy to be an email copywriter, because you need the skills that I mentioned earlier. You need business understanding, you need psychology, you need storytelling, you need to be good in marketing analytics, you need to be connected with the culture of your audience. And that's really the reason why you shouldn't do it. If ever you shouldn't do it, it's because the difficulty of being able to do it, especially, once again, the culture. If you can't connect culturally with your audience, for example, if this is you're a female and let's say you're 31 years old, but you're trying to write for an audience, an audience that is 50-year-old and they're male, and this guy has or 60-year-old males, you're going to have trouble connecting with them unless you really understand the 60-year-old male population. So this is one of the biggest barriers in email copywriting. Okay, so what tools does an email copywriter need? Do you guys know what are the different tools in email copywriting? Maybe you're familiar with some of these. What are the tools of an email copywriter? Well, very simply, a word processor like Microsoft Word or even Notepad, and an email service provider. And the email service provider is the software or the app that sends emails, that does the automation we talked about earlier. And there are a whole bunch of them. There's MailChimp, there's GetResponse, there's ActiveCampaign, there's Drip. There is, what's that popular one? I can't remember the name now, but there are hundreds of different email service providers out there. And these, if you want to get into email copywriting, you should be familiar with the most popular ones. Like the most popular one here is MailChimp. It's not the easiest to use. It's pretty difficult to use, but it's what most people use because it's probably the oldest or one of the oldest and one of the most popular. Okay, so if you want to learn more about email copywriting, then we do have a free course over at wfhr.io/free email course. And we do have a paid course as well. Alan, who I mentioned earlier, Alan's a friend of mine. He has a webinar, if you want to check it out. It's wfhr.io/inbox society. That's the name of his company, /inbox society. And if you like reading, there are lots of free resources on a blog called Copy Blogger. It's all about writing copy, copywriting, basically. Okay, so that is, if you want to learn more, just head over to these areas. And if you're new to freelancing and you don't know what I'm talking about and you're very confused by all of this talk about email copywriting and such, check out our free course. If you want to start working from home and become a freelancer, just head over to freevacourse.com. All right, let me go ahead and look at these comments here. Dea has a question. So Dea's question is there much of a difference between email copywriting versus SEO copywriting? Well, when we say SEO copywriting, it doesn't really make sense because SEO is getting ranked in the search engines and copywriting is getting people to buy something with copy. So it doesn't really make sense when you say SEO copywriting. But when people say this, what they usually mean is copywriting in blog posts. And there is a big difference between the way you write emails and the way you write blog posts and the way you write sales pages. There's a very big difference between the way you write these different forms, right? Just like it's very different when you're reading a newspaper or reading a book. The approach is very different. So I'd say yes, the basic foundation here is copywriting. The basic foundation here is copywriting, but the format, the kind of language you use, the way you write is very different between email, between blog posts, between sales pages. So yes, there is a big difference. But your foundations are all copywriting. Can you please show and read us a sample draft of a campaign? Well, Raphael, if you want to check Well, I don't have any draft campaigns right now, but I'd say, head over to freevacourse.com and you'll see a bunch of my copy over there. I do teach copywriting in the free email course. Once again, if you want to check that out, I'll provide a link in the comments or in the description here. Caesar Hista, has anyone tried using mail merge of MS Outlook? So, since we have some time here, there are no other questions right now. So if we're talking about mail merge, what does mail merge mean? Well, mail merge is it's not really related to email copywriting, not so much. And in most cases, you can use mail merge with copywriting, but they're used separately. But mail merge is when you have a list of emails, and then you have like the names. This is like an Excel sheet. And then you have, let's say, their phone number. And then you send to each one and you say, hi name. And then, this is the field. To email, hi name, and then you have the message here. So that's the mail. What mail merge will do is it'll send an email to every single person in your Excel sheet. And you can do it in things like Outlook and other programs. Okay, here we go. Okay, so as you can see here, this is a sample of an email. So we have the email subject over here. We have this email that about Liberty. It tells us about and it just tells her story here. Talks about her. Talk about her story and how she succeeded as a freelancer, even though she was 42 when she first started the computer. And there's a question: what's your excuse? If she was 42 when she first touched the computer, you don't have an excuse because she was able to succeed. If you have determination to succeed, then you can and will. And at the bottom, I ask people to join the virtual assistant bootcamp. All right, so that's a sample. It's a sample email here, that a lot of you have probably. And I hope that was good enough for you. And if you do want to actually receive that email, once again, go ahead to Free VA Course so that you can see that email. So the email copywriting course is included in the Bootcamp Complete package. If you want to enroll in that, it's not in the Starter and Accelerated package. So if you head over to vabootcamp.ph, you will see the different packages. And the rightmost one is the complete package, which includes an English training, and a bookkeeping training as well. So go ahead and check that out. We have that writing course there. Okay, so that seems to be all the questions you have. Okay, guys, I will talk to you later. Bye.